Damn, Ingenious made the beat? Yo, welcome to another episode of the Coach Life Podcast Radio. I am, of course, your host, the Prince of Positivity, Coach Steve. Joined with me, as always, the Condor of Chaos, of Conspiracy, Coach Luna. How are we doing, brother?
Good, man. Good. Blessed to be here.
You
One of
know
my
it.
favorite topics to talk about. One of my favorite things to post about. One of my favorite things to follow. This was a good one. This was that one that I'm very passionate about. One I hold true dear to my heart.
I was going to say near and dear to the heart on this one. Near and dear to the heart. Join with us, the CEO, founder of Coach Life Podcast Radio and brand, the brand about building your brand. Coach Wash, how we doing, brother?
You're doing great. Bless. Uh, I'm with Luna on this. I'm with Coach Luna. Like we going all the way.
You know it. You know it. You know it. You know it. Since this is a very near and dear topic to you two, when we talk about health and wellness, because again, you guys are very, very big on the fitness side of everything. Coach Steve is still working on his fitness journey right now. But the wellness journey, we're doing very well with, but the fitness portion, we still got to work on that. But obviously, as we alluded to, this podcast, our Coach's Corner today, is on health and wellness. We're going to talk about health and wellness in kind of the general sense. We'll go into a little bit more of the nitty gritty in our next podcast, which you might want to tune in for because you might pick up a couple little pickups here and there on how to be better, healthy, and be more well for yourself, with a special guest to be announced later on. But not to sidetrack too much, but to get back to the topic of wellness, we're going to talk about wellness in the general sense, like we talked about before, understanding wellness in its holistic view. Coach Luna, when we talk about wellness, I know we've talked pre-show about a couple things. So I'm burnt. I know you've been burning to talk about a couple things. I've been burning to talk about a couple things. Um, Wellness, sir. What does wellness look like, sound like, feel like to you, sir?
Um, I feel like now I've gotten to a point where I'm understanding wellness a little bit more. Um, Previous I always thought wellness was just a um more of like just a physical well-being.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? I lack the understanding of the interconnectedness of each one, um, and how they all look independent, but they all depend on each other. And when one area is lacking, typically the other ones are lacking as well. So the wellness that I've learned is that personal trinity that I brought up, I've talked about in here in this podcast plenty of times: the mental, spiritual, and physical. Those three things.
Absolutely.
And just making sure that, what I'm saying, we're working on each one. Because I had this thought yesterday while I was driving. I was like, if you want to get stronger and you want to get work on the muscles that you have that is protecting your skeletal, what do? You exercise, you lift weights.
Mm-hmm.
If you
Mm-hmm.
feel like you need to go and have a spiritual journey, what do? You go to church, or you go and hop into whatever religious practice that you go ahead and do. You maybe go to a retreat, you do something like that. And then the mental. What do people do now? What do people do now for mental wellness, mental health being? What are you doing to exercise the brain? What are you doing to nourish the brain? Like, the brain needs food too. And it doesn't need actual nutrition, even though that's a little bit part of it, but it also needs stimulation.
Mm-hmm.
And not the dopamine that we all get addicted to, but the actual good stuff that's actually tricking and rewiring the brain. You know, that part,
100%.
that part I love.
you touched on something right now. We're gonna put a pin in that right now because we don't want to open that bag up right now because we want to get into the physical, the mental, and then the emotional piece of it. We will definitely touch on that.
Yeah,
Coach Wash.
that's a
Oh,
deep bag, boy.
that's a deep bag.
That's a deep bag.
Coach Wash, tell us from a general standpoint, the the ultimate wellness. What does wellness look like, sound like, feel like for you?
I mean, Luna pretty much summed it up. And they all, like he said, they all play into each other. I always like to think about what leads the three, the Trinity there. I would say the mental. If your mind ain't right, it definitely will mess up your physical. Y'all know recently I had a health scare. Part of that was stress, and I had to take a stress test. Had potential or a scare of potential heart issues. If your mind not right and you out of balance mentally, it absolutely would throw your body off. Would throw your can't speak today. Your equilibrium
Equilibrium,
off.
bro. I got you,
Bro,
bro.
we
I
got
got you.
three.
Yeah,
Equilibrium. I
go
got
on,
your
fill in the
rebound,
blank
bro.
for me. Yeah, blank line. Fill that in. And it'll throw you out of whack, out of balance. And you get sick. You'll
Mhm.
get physically sick if your mental's not right. Also spiritually, like you can be out of whack there as well. You can be distracted if you're out of whack with what you with where you want to be. Whatever it is that has you stressing will distract you from your spiritual journey.
100%, man.
And really,
100%.
really, your spiritual should be first. That kind of bring me back around to that. It's kind of close. Your spiritual should keep you in alignment, but the things that we can't avoid in life are a lot of external factors that tend to be thrown at us, right? And so I don't know, spiritual and mental, they're very close. I probably will kind of take back where I started.
I was
I'm
just
probably
about
gonna
to,
go ahead.
I was
I'm
about to
Yeah,
about
say,
you
bro.
backpedaled there.
I was about to
so
say, I was about to say, all
yeah,
right, we
we
finna put a
we
timeout
gotta
right here real quick, bro.
yeah, go ahead. 30 seconds, no,
it's
full.
Yeah, we in
it's
full.
funny. It's funny you say that though, because there was a study because I'm gonna start hitting y'all people with facts. Okay, because I think some of the time y'all think I'm just shooting the shit. I'm gonna hit y'all with some cold hard facts.
No, I
There
know
was
you. You done read.
well, you know
Right.
me. But there was a study done in San Francisco, bro. And it's actually in the book that I recommended for a lot of people to read. I don't know if you're going to be at The Power of Your Subconscious Mind, right?
Hmm.
It said, and I quote, social relationships are so important to humans that a lack of social connection constitutes a major risk factor for health, rivaling even the effects of cigarette smoking, high blood pressure, obesity, and the lack of physical activity.
Man.
What that basically sums up in saying, it's basically kind of what you were saying, the mental part. A underestimated, underappreciated part of like going on a journey is thinking that you're powerful enough to go through it by yourself.
Mm,
Mm.
And the reason why I say that is every time I go ahead and I have these thoughts, bro, I always try to reflect back and see are my thoughts valid based off of experience as well. And I thought about it because last year, when I started going through the physical journey myself, as far as like trying to get myself back in the gym, the first few months, I didn't exercise unless I had somebody else with me. And if they didn't exercise with me, I was making that an excuse for me not to go exercise.
Hmm.
Even though I had the time, I had the resource to go do it. I didn't want to go do it if I didn't have nobody. Because I was still leaning on that social aspect of what they're saying. Because at that point, I wasn't mentally ready or mentally capable to get back out there and have that confidence, that self-confidence to lift that weight and get that shit moving again by myself. Because I had the fear of failure and that embarrassment. Like, bro, I used to lift 3 times this, and I'm
Hmm.
over here struggling my ass off with this. And Bro, that was real for a good couple of months, bro. That's why, like, I was working out with the Smith machine, bro. And Shelby, shout out to Shelby. Shelby's the reason that he got on my ass. He was like, Luna, you're not fucking strong. You're lifting with a Smith machine. You got to automatically deduct 50 pounds off that. That's not real weight. I looked at him like, you son of a bitch.
Like, thank you. Thank you for poking the air out of my balloon right now.
But it was real though, because the first
Right.
time I went ahead, I left the Smith machine, I got on that bench and I
Oh
got
yeah,
on
it's
that
a different
incline.
story.
That way said,
Cause you gotta
It's here
balance
now.
all that.
yeah, he
You
was
gotta
like, yeah,
balance all that.
you gotta engage that core, you gotta get all that going. I
Everything.
was like, all right, yeah, I mean, shit, you got a point.
It's different.
Hell
So
yeah.
100% the mental aspect is something that's needed. You do need to have a very strong mental aspect to push through. And I love what you said about that and the facts that you brought with this one, Luna, on needing that social bond to kind of help push you through sometimes. But Coach Wash said something earlier about the triangle, right? When we started talking about the
Mhm.
triangle, what's at the top of your triangle, right?
Mm,
At the top of my triangle is the spiritual aspect. I know, just like Luna said, you need that social aspect. You can't do this by yourself, right? And you're foolish enough to think that you are going through life by yourself. You're not. You're not doing this by yourself. This is predetermined. This is predestined. I don't care if you believe in God or if you believe in a higher power, you believe in whatever you believe in. This is predetermined. This is predestined. There is a plan that's already put in place for you. So for you to bring your plan, and it's funny enough because I just heard this. I can't remember exactly where I heard this from, but somebody said when you put your plan in front of God,
It was
it's
LeVar.
like
yeah,
right,
just
exactly
said on
right.
the
It's
last
LeVar
part.
exactly
on the
just the
last
last
part.
LeVar said it right on the last part, right? You put your plan in front of God, right? It's kind of funny, right? Again, it's a perfect example, right? If you have a better, stronger relationship with a higher power, with your higher power, again, no matter what your religion is, if you have a stronger, higher power understanding of that, that's going to help you with your mental. That's going to help you with your physical. That's going to start helping with all three of those pieces to kind of make sure that you are where you need to be to to take the steps to be a better, well-rounded, welled person. If that makes sense.
Yeah. I That's why I had to like kind of rewind on myself.
Mm-hmm.
But when I think about it, that triangle is not this, it doesn't look the same for everybody because the
Right.
key to it is actually having belief in a higher power. So what does
Correct.
that look like for somebody who doesn't?
Right.
Uh, then the mental does have to be it. That's the top of their triangle. And then what Luna said now is kind of either you just a very special type of person and you do well isolated,
Mm-hmm.
which that's a small percentage of people. And then in most cases you do need some type of help.
Well, that spiritual bond, when you were talking that we just talked about, that spiritual bond could
That
be
is
that
help.
social bond. That
Yeah,
social bond is again, you building that social bond with everybody to again not be on that journey by yourself.
right. Now I agree with you. Like that's what I'm saying. If we all three of us are spiritual. So,
Absolutely.
but I'm saying that everybody's not. So I can, you get what
See
I'm
it from
saying?
that perspective.
Yeah. So I kind of look at those people where they don't have that that strength that God, as we look at it, to lean on. Kind of carry us through when we don't have another person on our side. What did they tap into?
Mm-hmm.
I
Where
see
they
what you're
pulling
saying.
from?
You're only as alone as you want to recognize that. I guess what you're saying. Like if you're in a spiritual
Mm,
journey, you're not alone. But if you're in a mental deal, you still have to try to struggle a little bit more to realize you can't go through it so that you do reach that spiritual part. I see they both can
yeah,
the triangle can just do this and
yeah,
spin because at the end of the
Right.
day, a tip, one point is gonna still be at the top. You know what I'm
yeah,
saying? The two
Absolutely.
things are gonna hold it up.
yeah.
100%. Let's pivot off of that because now we can talk about mindful living. Like the importance of the mindfulness and maintaining an overall health. Again, from how you eat, how you take care of yourself, how much sleep you may be getting or not getting, right? So what are
Mhm.
some of those things that we talk about when we from a mindful standpoint? Like what are some of the practices and tips that you can incorporate to have like a mindful daily wellness practice?
Well, I think one way to just easily do it, bro, is just create your routine and like,
Mm,
Yep.
cause I think what happens with a lot of us is that we give ourselves that fallacy of I'm so busy, I'm so busy, I'm so busy. And typically, I mean, we're all working adults, but there is times to where you can go ahead and fit in whatever you need to fit in if you make that decision. Um, go to bed earlier. You know what I'm saying? Like the thing I sent you earlier said go to sleep at 9 and wake
mm-hmm.
up at 4. Get your workout in. Typically, I mean, what the 9 to 5 is what the normal. That's the normal working schedule
For
for
most.
what most adults, right?
Hmm.
The fuck you need to go to sleep at fucking midnight for? You're a grown ass person. Get your ass in bed at 9. Don't eat after 7. Go to sleep. Turn that shit off and go to bed. And you know, hey, I'm the pot calling the kettle black, bro, because for the longest I had a terrible habit of not going to sleep at a good time, bro. I'm over here on freaking Instagram, Twitter. I'm looking at everything, bro. I'm over here just a bot. My wife called me a bot. You a bot. You a bot. I'm just and it just has, you know what I'm saying? You just have to have that declutter, bro. Like, all right, bro, I'm about to go to bed and I'm waking up. The first 2 weeks, bro, when me trying to wake up at 4 a.m. was freaking hell.
Absolutely.
Was absolute hell, bro. I hit that snooze, bro. And that's another thing. Get Stop hitting the snooze. Stop. You're not those 10 extra minutes are doing nothing.
It's hurting you.
It's actually making it worse because you're tricking your brain to thinking that it's about to go back into its REM cycle. And now you're tapping in and making yourself even more tired when you wake up the second time.
Exactly. If you want to
Real
get
talk, bro.
up and avoid stuff like that, put
Just
that
get up.
alarm on the get up, yes, but put the phone or whatever your alarm clock is on the other side of the room. Force
And
yourself
don't
to get up and go get it.
and don't wake up to some shit that you like. Put on the worst freaking goddamn buzzer, annoying. Get up.
I'm gonna use Coach Luna's
Make it wake
ringtone.
you
He
up,
said,
bro.
what you say, Coach Steve, make it uncomfortable.
Make it
Make it
uncomfortable.
uncomfortable,
Make
dog.
it uncomfortable.
Making your way downtown.
Man. And then
You're getting up.
with the routine. So let's keep talking about it. The benefits of a morning workout. The benefits of a morning workout has shown to have the same effects as somebody like just drinking a whole thing of coffee, bro, and going through the rest of the day. Like you have that natural adrenaline rush after you get done with your workout and have your day. I was the biggest non-believer of that shit because I love to go to sleep and get my sleep. You know
Mm-hmm.
what I'm saying? But then I just after I started doing it myself, I was just like, hey, nah, this actually has some validity. And then don't eat your breakfast when you go work out. Yeah, sounds crazy. Drink that little cup. This is my routine, bro. I wake up, I drink some water with some Celtic salt. We can talk about that a little later. Drink some Celtic salt with my water, feed my cells, give myself a coffee, eat a banana, and I'm listening to the Bible on the way to the workout. And boom, I already did one thing that I said I was going to do today. And now I'm about to get my second thing done to do today. And then at some point during my lunch or my conference, I start reading my book.
Mm-hmm.
Bam, that's my third thing done for the day. And then by the time I get home, all I got left to do is journal. Boom, day is done. Anything else is bonus.
I like that because it gives again you sticking to a structure, and I think again, like you said, that's the hardest part for a lot of people is putting together a structure. And I'm going to recommend something we talked about in the last podcast. Write it down. Write your structure down. Write down exactly what you want to accomplish throughout the day. The
Yeah.
power of writing something down is so unutilized. It's so underrated. Like a lot of people don't understand writing something down gives you 3 times or sometimes 10 times the amount of mental capacity to make sure that you're going to remember it, retain it, and be able to regurgitate it.
Because it's simple, bro. You're touching it when you go ahead and put the pen to the paper. You're seeing it. This is your brain going to work. This is your work that you're seeing, you're hearing, you're feeling, you're everything, bro. Like you're tapping into every sense. And it's even better if you go ahead and even just mumble it or even say it. Because now you get
Mhm.
the auditory involved.
Absolutely. It's again going back to what we said before, being mindful, being making it uncomfortable so that it forces you to do it. You have to start putting it in perspective for yourself. Like, how bad do you really want it? I think we talked about this in one of our earlier pods, right? How bad
Mm-hmm.
do you really want it? We can talk all day, but how bad do you really, really want it? If you really want it, put the effort into actually writing down what you want your day to look like. What do I want to accomplish?
Oh, that reminds me, bro. Again, reference to Shelby, bro. So
Mm-hmm.
this motherfucker, bro, this he's like a closest to David Goggins as far as like just raw and just like straightforward when it comes to like just an approach on a lot of shit and philosophy. So he has a calendar in his kitchen, bro, and in that hoe is either a gigantic black square and that and he said, if I didn't work out that day, that's what that means. So that means if my because he's OCD. So if he looks at that calendar and all those black squares are filled in and it's like all over the calendar, it mentally it screwed him up a little bit to be like, bro, I'm bullshit.
Yep.
And I was like, that's one way to like consistently piss yourself off in a sense because you know you OCD and you see this shit and it's making you mad. And now you just gotta hold yourself so that your calendar can look clean.
Yeah,
I
like you said, you
mean,
got to be pissed off for greatness,
yep.
and that's just where he's at. But that's back to the mental, right? That's the mental piece of it. The true want to, the true grit, and then putting things in place to make yourself uncomfortable. Because if you want something bad enough, you have no problem making yourself uncomfortable to force yourself to do it. Now it's good to have accountability partners, like you said, Luna, like Shelby, the one that kind of checked your ass, like get off the Smith machine.
Mm-hmm.
So,
Mm-hmm.
we all got somebody to that's gonna come through and be true and be like, yo, I've been watching you. I gotta tell you, that's bullshit. You
Yeah,
know,
bro.
with
We gotta take the baby trainers off. We gotta take the wheels
yeah,
off. We gotta
yeah.
go ahead and get
So
on this two-wheeler.
right, you just gotta go after it. But yeah, you gotta get to a point where mentally you can handle that for yourself though.
Mm.
True enough.
That's everybody don't have that. Somebody needs somebody always in their ear to get started. But I'll say take advantage of your tools and your resources, right? We talk about writing things down. We could write things down, but like if you hooked on the phone, remember I talked about last podcast when I was putting everything in my calendar at one point or putting an alarm on everything to like keep me in place to start a routine. So what you
Mm-hmm.
talking about, Luna, you may not have to keep doing it, but to help you get started, set that alarm for 4 or 5 a.m. in the morning. Put your phone on the other side of the room and get out of bed. Eventually, you'll get to the point where you won't have to do that. But to jumpstart you and get you into a rhythm, do things that you know will force you to get into that routine. And eventually, you won't have to do those extra things anymore because you're going to feel out of whack without the routine.
True enough. And I want to piggyback off of that really quick too, because excuse me, when we talk about um when we talk about building that routine for yourself and making sure that you are staying consistent with everything, one of the biggest things that I feel that from at least for me and staying consistent is it's sometimes I need that partner to help me get it jump started. Sometimes you need that accountability partner to help you get everything moving in the right direction. So for anybody out there that like again, none of us on this pod are saying that you shouldn't have somebody there to kind of help you get started. We're saying don't be the person to be solely dependent on that person to keep you started and keep you going. Right?
Hey,
When you jump a
you,
car, you jump it once. You don't keep jumping it. But go ahead.
that was exactly where I was going with it. The car battery, dog. Once the car starts, it's
Go.
over you from that point on. You may need a new battery. You may need a whole new battery, and that's a self check.
Yep.
Man, you ain't never lied. And ain't nothing wrong
Okay.
with that.
Yeah. Yeah, you definitely some people just need a little bit more help than others. Like you said, even if we talk about spiritual or just somebody in our corner, you get to a point where you can operate on your own, but we all can't do it on our own all the time. There's very few people that just can operate isolated like that.
Right.
You know, we can't all be to some degree, I think it's psychotic, but the mental of David Goggins. It was recording him recently, and his partner was recording him running down the side of the road, said, "This is what it's like living with David Goggins." He decided randomly after dinner that he was going to run 100 miles. Just just randomly,
Just off the willpower, bro.
off the willpower. And this wasn't broken up. This wasn't, I'm gonna do 100 miles in a month. This was tonight. We finished dinner and I'm gonna run 100 miles. And
Tonight.
she's trailing him in the car, saying we're on mile 64. He's been at this for 13 hours. And I talked to him 3 hours ago with the light on him, running in the dark. He just trotting along. And then I recently watched a video of him, and I'm like, you just a special type of wire. This dude, this, like I said, anomaly, self motivated, like got the jump started inside of him. He was talking about, it's funny because it made me think back to what we've been talking about on all these pods, talking about discipline and everything. And I watched a clip of him recently. He was on a show talking about fuck discipline, fuck them words, like motivation, inspiration, like fuck all them words. Just do it. He was like, we put too much emphasis on the words. He said, I got one response, just do it. And so that's a special type of wiring, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
But for most of us, even if we can do it a majority of the time, even if you get there, it's good to have somebody in your corner.
True enough.
Facts.
Muhammad Ali had a corner.
Every great boxer
Greatest.
got a corner.
Mayweather, all of them got a corner. They wouldn't be as great as they are without their corner.
Bro, everybody, let's take it even deeper. Everybody got a coach.
Everybody got a coach in their corner.
As simple as that, bro. Everybody's got a coach.
Yeah.
Let's pivot again and talk about the nutritional and healthy eating
Oh
portion of
man.
everything, because that is an area that I know for sure I struggle with quite a bit. I've done a lot better than previous iterations of myself, but that's an area that's always been a very, very tough road to battle, partly because I love to eat. I may not look like it, but I love to eat.
Hey, that's them genetics that that article Luna shared with us was
Yep.
talking about. There's no one size fit all for everybody. Everybody is built differently genetically. But I need some of y'all to stop making that a fucking excuse. Sorry, I had to put it that way. But yeah, I just had to be blunt since we talking about
Facts.
those friends that G check us. I'm gonna do it for the world on the pod. So just like in school, you know, fortunately, some people just get it better than others. Some people retain information better than others. Some people critically think and solve problems better than others. That don't mean you can't, but don't get mad just because it take you longer. You can do it. It just may take you longer. You're gonna cry about it, or you're just gonna get fat. You got two options, really. So, and then also, we all get presented with the same food. And so when somebody that's doing things in a healthy manner try to school you, especially when you got an example, somebody had the transformation changes, when we can see those examples, and then I see people make excuses as to why they can't be that, then I got to tap back into David Goggins, like fuck all that other shit.
Just do it.
Just do it. You know what I'm saying? I think a big part of it is programming. I'm trying not to go down a political path right now, Steve, but
We
we
want to
we
keep the
do
pod. We want to keep the
we
pod.
got it. We do have to talk about the forces and the whiz behind the curtain.
True.
So there was a video, bro, and I have to go deep into my archive to find it, bro. But it was a guy out of Jamaica, and he basically said that parasites in the body is why you have certain cravings. So if you have a craving for sugar or you have a craving for these certain bad foods or whatever, it's the parasite that has gotten into you that's actually craving it and not your actual self. And
Mhm.
if there's a new thing going on within the health community that they're saying parasites is what causes cancer, not all of the extra shit that they're saying. The parasites from the foods that we eat and the lack of fiber that we're getting, that we're not getting rid of the excess shit, that's causing the parasites within our system to run rampant. And that's why we're getting these chronic diseases. That's why we're going through this shit. Like,
Rampant and multiply. They
dog,
just multiplying, and everything we consume, that's where your addiction comes from. The parasite has taken over your central nervous system, your brain, and now
They in
you have
control.
you have a serious battle to check yourself and wean off of this stuff. You talk about like drug addicts. It's really the same thing.
the same thing.
It's the same thing.
It's the
It
exact
may
same
not
thing.
be as quick of a death. You're not gonna have a overdose. But it's a slow path, and
Absolutely.
it's a bad quality of life. You know what I'm saying?
That's
It's
and
it's
that I mean, this part, bro. I could go on this all day. That's
All
where
day.
intermittent fasting, bro, is a thing that I first got introduced back in 2014 by my coworker Adam Hollyfield. Shout out, Coach Adam. He told me about intermittent fasting, but I didn't really at that time, bro. I wasn't really into it because I didn't understand it, and at that time, I didn't have the mental capacity to be able to be like, bro, don't eat for like 12 hours. Are you kidding me? 14 hours? Like, are you crazy? And then like last year, as I started doing it, I read something, they said, bro, just drop eating one meal, whatever meal it is. And then what really got me was when I went to St. Lucia in January, I pretty much had a whole day of what they eat and how they eat. Bro, in the mornings, they eating salad with cod. I said, what? And then in the afternoon, they eating more fish with breadfruit and some other like some jackfruit. And they're eating that and they treat that jackfruit and that breadfruit and they treat that like almost like a potato almost in a sense, like they're starch, but it's a fruit. So I'm like, huh, ain't really no grains in here. There's no refined, there's nothing in here that's starchy or anything like that. And that's their daily routine. And then you look at the people. I didn't see a soul out there that was obese. Not one. Then I even asked the man, I said, man, how is y'all's food system? Like, what do y'all eat? How do y'all kids eat at lunch? Bro, he described their lunch menu, bro. I was like, wow. They said they drink natural juices. They drink juices from the actual fruits that are on the island that they squeeze out and give to the kids themselves.
Juice, not punch.
not punch.
Not
Exactly.
punch. Not no red 40, not
Tang.
no blue 6, no football cadence ass fucking
Exactly.
ingredients. Real fruits with the actual ingredients, giving it to the kids, bro. And I was just like, bro, we are in last place. Like, we are dead last.
But we talk like we first.
Okay, that's just arrogance. That's pompous. Like
Right.
yeah, that's just the American way to just believe that we're that way, bro. You gotta, that's why I explore more.
It is.
Leave. Go see how behind we are when it comes to our youth. Man, bro, like we can say we in first. We in first when it comes to what our world is and our beliefs and what we're in our bubble.
About that
But
dollar.
in longevity,
It's about that dollar.
I
Well,
beg to
since we
differ.
since we talking about
Capitalism.
we talking about a dollar. We talking about a dollar right now. We talking about food. Let's talk about one of the biggest chains out there right now. And one of the biggest reasons a lot of people say, well, I can't eat healthy because it costs too much. Well, last time, exactly. Last time I checked, like is the dollar menu is now like the $5 menu. Like is
Even before the dollar menu came about, people say that but never try to eat healthy.
exactly
But not to blame them. That is ignorance that was taught to them by the school system. Because even that food pyramid, that fucking lie that they've been posting in the health classes for years.
mm-hmm.
You don't need dairy. They need to take that off as a necessity. You don't. We technically don't need meat. Like you, we don't even teach you that. What does say, Luna?
I wish you could read it. It says January 14, 2023 at 2:02 p.m. I was talking to our tour guide. Said no soft drinks in St. Lucia schools for kids, just natural juices.
That's
Yep.
crazy.
Yeah. I mean,
Dog.
the stuff we taught. I'm like, it's taught though. It ain't.
Right.
It's not even taught just because we brought up in it. But like even in health class, the miseducation in the health class in the textbook is ridiculous to me. But once again, it's about the dollar because it feeds into our fast food restaurants. It feeds into our mass production of even our produce not even good anymore. You know, if you want good produce, you got to go to a farmer's market or you got to grow it yourself. You got to find somebody with a small setup, growing things naturally, not spraying it to mass produce it and sell it off to a larger corporation. But that stuff is not even hard to find. Like
Right.
produce is cheaper than meat. So when people tell me like they can't eat healthy, I'm like, really? Like you really didn't try. And then when
Yeah.
people think, and this is so how bad we are wired. When people think it's time to eat healthy, they be like, they're still going to the frozen food section. And they're buying, you still buying processed food. Like you now it's like I'm gonna start eating vegan sausage, vegan cheese. Like it's not
You
natural.
you do
It's
understand
over
we have to
polluted
make
with
that,
soy.
right?
It's
Right.
over polluted with soy and all these other ingredients. Look, man, I've gotten to the point where it's real simple. If you flip that bag over and you read it and you can't pronounce some of it, why would you put that in your body?
Put it back.
Like let's just keep it real fundamental and real simple. Bro, the Kraft single squares that we used to think was cheese, bro, that's not even called cheese. That shit's called Kraft squares. There's
Crafty.
no cheese in it.
This is a byproduct.
It's crafted.
Bro,
It's crafted.
it's
It's
Kraft
crafted
squares.
cheese.
It's not fucking cheese, bro. Like, and bro, we used to smash that. I'm talking about taking out the thing and smash it, put it in the
Real talk
man.
though, when you cut them like they did in the car not the cartoon, but in the commercials, mine never spread the way that it did in the
Oh yeah,
commercials.
absolutely.
Never did
No,
that.
but that's
Just by the
that's
way,
But you know,
that's
even the
marketing.
commercials are a lie. I watched a special on that. They don't even use real food for the food commercials.
no, they
Oh
don't.
yeah,
It's
no.
plastic.
Like
We gotta
all
make it look
plastic
look good.
and yeah,
It's all
yeah.
dressed up, man.
It's capitalism.
But
It's about the
the
dollar.
thing, the thing is, bro, there's alternatives for everything that we all like, bro. Like, and again, it's inherent laziness.
True.
Like, bro, I still I would still eat a sandwich every 9 days, but the difference is it ain't between sunbeam white bread,
Right,
and I ain't getting no regular ass mayo.
right.
I'm not eating no processed lunch meat, and I'm not getting no Kraft Square. The difference is if I'm gonna eat a sandwich, it's gonna be a 9 grain multi bread, no BS in the bread type stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Then I'm gonna get a mayo that got avocado oil in it. Then I'm gonna go ahead and get fresh cut deli meat from HEB, and I'm gonna get some fresh cut cheese.
Man, I don't want to hear about an HEB right now. I'm sorry.
Yeah, I know y'all ain't got that out there. I don't know what y'all got. Y'all
No, I
still
don't want
dealing
to hear
with
about any more grocery stores right
what's
now.
that? Aldi, Aldo. What's
Because
the
of
name of
work.
y'all shit?
That
Aldi.
We've got an Aldi. You got Aldi down there too.
Aldi's everywhere.
Man, we
You got
don't.
Aldi
Aldi
down
everywhere
there.
now.
Man, all I need is my HEB.
No, I don't do HEB.
I
We
feel you.
we 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 Costco and Aldi, baby. We straight Costco and Aldi with it.
You got money.
I feel you. Yeah,
No,
that's
Costco. No, I just put the missus on the Costco. Man, we went to Costco. She was like, "What?" I was like, "You'd be
yes,
surprised. Like some of the stuff
yes.
you get in bulk that you buy at like your regular grocery store, you'd be like, "Dang, it's the same price, or it's cheaper, and you get more." And I'd be
Hey, that's
like,
that's financial. That's financial. That's financial. We gotta say
Yeah,
that.
we gonna save that one.
"Yeah,
Get a Costco card.
but no,
We'll start.
but this is back. This still staying in our realm of as far as affordability with food though. So
True
this is a
enough.
matter of just researching and seeing what you can actually afford. So look at things like this. Like I eat all the vegetables. I can get a huge bag of spinach for like $4 at Costco. That's in the bag that I used to get be about $6 at like Kroger for like
So
half the
like this
size.
big,
Yeah, like this, this a
maybe
bag. You know what I'm
16
saying?
ounces, maybe.
Yeah. Now, yeah. And so like even stuff like that. So you tell me like you can't afford to eat healthy. And Costco got like even organic food that you can get for cheaper than the regular degular at your local grocery. Like I'm saying that stuff, it looked like you spending a lot up front, but then you back to the financial. I'm not gonna go deep into it, but if you look at how much you spend over the month, it'd be like, I won't have to make the trip as soon as I usually would though.
Right.
So like I got more, I plan out my meals. This may last me 3 weeks instead of one or one and a half. Now the trip is less and you're getting better food. But
But I want to piggyback off something you said earlier because I kind of let it glean over, but I couldn't let it go. The pesticides on the whole fruit that people are always talking about that crap. Bro, there are so many videos out there on social media because I know
to
y'all
clean
niggas
it,
addicted. I know we're addicted to it. So, okay, cool. At least go ahead and use it for what it's worth. There's a lot of information out there. They're cleaning
Yep.
yeah,
vinegar, baking soda,
vinegar,
water,
lemon
soak it in there,
juice.
clean it, take it out of the plastic and put it in a different type of container
That
Yeah,
so it
requires
can
work,
prolong its
Luna.
life again.
yeah, sound like work.
Inherent laziness, bro.
I have to
See,
do something to eat healthy. I have to preserve my food so that I can eat healthy.
That's the American facade of
I
why I
can,
said we
Right.
in last fucking place.
Right.
you know what I think about when I always get this example. I think about the times where you do choose to eat out and when you actually start planning to eat good, cook at home and like make things the right way. If you really do the math, right now, I want y'all to, I want my our followers and listeners be honest about how much it'll cost to feed 4 people at a drive-through. Pick any drive-through. Four people. I don't care if you got a 6 and an 8-year-old for the children, and two adults. Be honest about what that bill gonna be at a drive-through for that one visit.
50,
I'm gonna tell you,
$60 easy.
50 to
I'm about to
60
tell you straight
dollars
up.
for one meal. And if you think about when you go grocery shopping, even today with as expensive as it is, you probably can get away with spending a little bit over 200, even if you don't eat healthy. You may spend 200 and some dollars on that same family to cover y'all for the next couple of weeks. But you would drop 50 bones on trash and say you can't afford to eat healthy.
on a meal that's just gonna only satisfy you for about 3 hours, and then you're
That's
gonna get
it.
hungry again because it has no actual or it has no
No
nutritional
nutritional
value.
value. I'll give you a better example. A lot of people don't know this. Pay attention to it the next time. If you're addicted to sodas or juices or punch, when you feel thirsty, I want you to chart yourself. If you don't drink water, I want you to chart how often you go back to grab whatever beverage that you drink throughout the day. I don't care if it's a beer, a soda, or a punch. And then the next day, force yourself not to drink those things. And when you feel thirsty, replace that trip to the fridge with water. And I guarantee you, you'll feel full and won't be thirsty after a glass or two of water.
Nope.
People that drink water for real, or if you start the journey of drinking water, you will feel full as hell trying to get a gallon of water in a day if you don't regularly drink water. That is tough because water actually quenches your thirst because that's what you're supposed to put in your body because your body is mostly water. So,
Well, on top of that, and also, this part I recently been like put on game with was drinking water with salt and not table salt. Like I
yeah.
mentioned earlier,
Sea
Celtic
salt.
salt.
Yep.
So that
This
kind of creates like an electrolyte, and that's what your
bingo.
body needs. That's actually better than just drinking water itself.
Bingo. My boy Charles told me about that, bro. He also
Yeah.
told me about another thing for like, now this is kind of within the realm. It kind of is, it is because it's health anyway and fitness. He told me about beet juice as
Yeah.
pre-workout. Take it like a
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
shot with some cayenne pepper.
Yeah.
Dog.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, my cousin that hoop overseas just told me about this recently. We was talking about my recent health scare. He's just talking about how it creates more oxygen in your lungs. And he was like, "Yeah, bro." He was like, "Do the beet juice. Like, trust me,
Mm-hmm.
it's a game changer."
Hey,
That's
and
crazy.
this, Coach Steve, this is a thing that it's on my spirit that I feel like I need to say. We need to get out of this whole idea that and David Goggins in chapter 1 kind of made me think about this because what his father told him when he came
Hmm.
home with an ear infection. His dad told him that only don't cancel me when I say this. This is what David Goggins wrote. I didn't say these are not my
I didn't say
words.
it.
He said faggots only go to hospitals when they get sick. And he said, I ain't gonna have my sons aren't gonna be no, you know, that. You know
Right.
what I'm saying? And come to find out, he's like, because he was what he ended up telling Goggins was like, if you always run to the hospital when you're sick or feel sick, you know what I'm saying, you're gonna end up being a sissy, basically.
Right.
And come to find out, bro, kid was 8 years old, and he was about to have like he was maybe an hour or 30 minutes away from completely losing his hearing. I say all that to say, take your ass to your annual checkups, go to the dentist, and shit. Like I told you, Steve, what I've been reading more and more, and it's kind of crazy to me because I never used to see it as a popular thing of people saying you need to go do.
Mm-hmm.
See a therapist,
Man,
get your mental health
Man,
checked.
I'm glad
I
we
am.
man we
that's a great
all
segue.
all this comes back around to mental at the end of the day because all the programming that we just got done talking about, you have to reprogram yourself. But you first have to make the conscious decision and have the want to do
Mm.
better for yourself. And stop telling yourself that the things you're learning now that you've been lied to about throughout your whole life is bullshit just because you don't have the strength or the mental fortitude to actually reprogram yourself. You need to get past that and just be like, today is the day.
Mm.
Today is the day. Um, that's it. That
It,
what
what's
God can
crazy
say,
though?
just fucking do it. Like
Just
today's
fucking
the
do
day. I mean, even if it take a process, that's fine. But you have to make a conscious decision at some point in time to actually start the process. And we talked about it different levels I mentioned earlier. everybody's not wired the same. Like me, I'm not an addictive person. Like I've Steve seen it. Like I've cold turkey a lot of things. Like when I've made up my mind, I'm switching gears. I'm
Story time. My
going.
man decided to do this one time when we was in college. I'm not gonna eat meat. Well, you can do that. You do understand that we're roommates and we have just gone half on
Tell
all the
them how
food.
much meat I ate, bro, so they understand.
It was reckless amounts of meat. Like reckless
Bro,
amounts. Like
I was
we
eating
eating
2 foot long subs in one sitting.
go to Subway, get
Italian.
two of them. Why? Why are you getting two? Is this one for now and one for later? No, we're gonna eat this in one sitting.
Both of them now.
Like
No, and that's another thing. I don't think we understand, like, bro, as we get older, so does our stomach changes, our metabolism
yes,
changes. We can't eat the same shit
no,
and can't
Nah,
process it the same. But I remember
nah.
when we were in high school, bro, McDonald's was up the street. We was getting two double cheeseburgers, two hot and spices, and a damn McFlurry.
Yeah, bro.
and
Smashing it.
going to practice after
And then
that.
we could live off of it. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, doing all type
And
of
we could,
crazy
we
stuff.
were kids.
Yeah. But
Man,
but
you can't do that no
even then I had a like I'm just able to flip it. When I change my mind, I'm like, yeah, we doing this today. Like I'm not on Goggins level with the 100 miles, but to the average person, they do look at me crazy. Like I'll tell you this, even a recent story. My doctor told me, my cardiologist recently told me, don't exercise till you come back for your follow-up visit. I had a stress test, which that didn't make sense because the stress test was exercise, but whatever. I'm not gonna lie though. I was feeling like crap not exercising. And I was like, I actually feel better. Like, I started the year like not drinking. It wasn't a New Year's resolution, people. It's just I had a health scare, just happened to align with the transition of the years.
In the
But
time.
so I ain't been drinking all month. I got back getting very strict with my diet, and I was walking the dog, and my lady was like, go to the gym. I'm like, all right. And so I'm walking the dog. I was like, you know what? Fuck this. I'm gonna put the dog up. I was like, you got enough time. It's me time. I ran 3 miles off the couch.
more.
Had an exercise minute. I was just like, we're gonna do this now. However long it take, I'm gonna get a 3 piece in. Period. And you gotta get to the point where you mentally wired to just like I said, everybody's not wired the same. I'm not telling y'all to like cold turkey like me. My whole point is, but however you are wired, you do have to first make that decision and start the process. Mentally, you gotta lock in. Mentally, you gotta love yourself.
That's when you start doing stuff unintentionally, intentionally. When
Coach
you
Rush,
really love yourself.
What's up?
how do I love myself? What does that look like?
Ooh, ooh.
Man, how do you
What
love
does that
yourself?
what does that look like? I've beaten myself up for so long. I blamed myself. I blamed others, and now I'm getting to the point where I'm like, I'm blaming myself now. How do I love myself again and forgive
Mm,
myself?
mm.
Man, I think I answered this question already. Make the decision. Make the decision that me first, because I am no good to myself or anybody else until I choose me first. I'm going to fall into a deeper hole of unhappiness if I don't put me first. That's why shows like My 600 Pound Life exists, and that also exists because people have bad coaches in their corner or lack thereof. Because you don't get 600 pounds by yourself. But
Took a team.
It's usually a team.
You just took a team.
But you have to. I mean, yeah, when you beating yourself up, man, and never. I feel like most people go through. I don't want to blanket everything, but
Mm-hmm.
I would feel safe in saying most people go through this process, whether they want to admit it or not, right? But you have to get to a point where you realize that there's no goal at the end of that rainbow to stay in that place mentally. Um, and if you are a spiritual person, back to Coach Steve, like me, I had a point where I just kind of fell off spiritually. Like God was always there, I always believed him, but I wasn't practicing my faith. You know what I'm saying? I wasn't actively on my in my doctrine, feeding myself words of wisdom, feeding myself uh, the stories that they got a lot of other followers of God through their situations. You know what I'm saying? Once I kind of got that back in alignment and chose to go back there, the mental was like, oh, I remember this. Why did I forget the root of joy? Why did I forget the root of my self-love? And I got to drop the bar again. He is I and I am him all day, every day. And you get to that place, you know, whether you're spiritual or not, you do have to some way find a way to say, I'm him.
Peace, God, man. You know it, 100%, bro. And it's almost again, it's for anybody that has gotten to a point where you've been able to, and I might sidetrack, I might derail a little bit, but I think I need to go here because I had a breakthrough with somebody earlier this week, and it made me feel real good, and it made me feel real good about what we doing and what we talking about. Because when we start talking about servant leadership, that's what we talking about. We're coaches, right? That's our job, is servant leadership. It's to serve, it's to pour into people and give them that resource, or give them that help that's going to get them to their next level, right? When you see someone be able to flip the switch for themselves and start loving themselves and start committing to themselves and start making a change for themselves and doing better for themselves and starting to see the fruits of their labor, it may not all be there, right? You may not have every single thing that you're looking for out of this. You may be looking for this giant fruit basket and you only got a grape out of it, but you super appreciative for that one grape that you got. You super appreciative for that one thing that you got. Those individuals are going to be able to see so much more success in the journey, and so more success and so much more appreciation for the end goal, because they're appreciative now for what they have. They start to love and care about themselves. That appreciation that you show for yourself right now, that carries. That's going to carry. That's the gas, the motivation that you'll have to keep you going and keep you moving forward. I love this topic because, again, it works in so many different facets. One of the things I talked to you guys about earlier in our podcast talks, earlier, probably like episode 2 or 3 or 4 or something like that. Gotta go back in the archives on this, but I told you again, one of the biggest things I struggle with, and Coach Wash will tell you this, was consistently being in the gym. Now, yes, was there a point in time where I was consistently in the gym? Absolutely. There was a
You didn't
point in
have a
time where
choice.
I didn't have a choice. It was like this,
Scheduled.
the schedule, it was scheduled.
You
We're
want to
gonna be
play
there, and
football here?
that's
You
what it
don't.
was. Exactly. You want to play? You better be in here in this gym clanging and banging. Simple as that. Was there a point in time after that where I still had that urge and still felt that need? Absolutely. Did it fall off? Absolutely. It wasn't someone there to help continue to push me and motivate me. And that's what I saw initially once I got out of college. I was always roommates with Coach Wash, and if I wasn't roommates with him, he would be sleeping on my couch.
Well,
So, like, you know what I'm saying? So a lot of times we got a chance to go to the gym together and have that time to, keep working out and keep building that consistency. When it's not there and you don't have someone there, that accountability partner, that accountability buddy, right? That social connection that you talked about, Coach Luna, that's what stops a lot of people, like you said, from continuing through that journey, right? And if you find it hard to continue through one portion of that triangle that we talked about, right? That mental, physical, or spiritual journey, figure out a way to sharpen up the other one so that it can help you pour back into that other leg that you may be missing.
So what I just gathered, Coach Steve, is that we might have to start cutting people out of our circle that may be derailing us from our triangle.
Man, you remember them blocks when you were a kid? You couldn't put the triangle in the circle and the circle in the triangle. You couldn't do that, right?
Yeah, you got to get a lot of squares out of your circle.
Man.
Or you're going to get bent out of shape.
Man.
Bars.
Oh man. But the thing for encouragement, man, like this is everything is infant stages. You know what I'm saying? Like even right now, the three of us all are infant stages in certain areas. For me, I'm still at the infant stages of getting back to my spiritual doctrine, just like how you talking about, Coach Rice. Like I'm back in my infant stages. So there are areas in my life where I'm still improving and trying to improve on. But the thing is, and this is the part that's the beauty of it, and it's the part that's beauty of it for all of us, is our ability to be vulnerable and ability to talk about these things gives us the ability to be open for redirection.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that's hard for a lot of people, bro. Like, it's okay, man. Like, if like you said last week, Wash, and that was perfect, man. If your friends are really your friends and you respect them, like you said, Coach Steve, you only take it the way that it's supposed to be taken, which is this person wants better for me. This person expects better for me. So therefore, I'm gonna go ahead and do better. You know what I'm saying? Like,
I'm gonna hear it and I'm gonna receive it.
Would you rather a person support your bad habit that you know is a bad habit, or would you rather have that person that says those little hurtful things here and there, but is actually just trying to demand the best part of you to come out? Which one do you prefer? Because one is area of comfort and the other one is the area of challenge.
Mm-hmm.
Which one are you willing to lean on? Which one do you actually think has your best interest? You know what I'm saying? Not to say that the person that's trying to always drag you out and do all this other stuff doesn't have your best interest, but it's not helping the area that you know you need to fix. You know what I'm saying?
Right. Yeah, I think two things have to happen. So the first thing, I'm gonna go back to self-love and how I have to address it in a different way because I think people have a misconception of what that looks like, right? Perfect example, since we're talking about health and wellness, like this acceptance of obesity is a thing. And then it is portrayed as self-love, like this is me, this is who I am. You wearing stuff that you can't fit, and you really just lying to yourself because you don't want to do the work. You don't want to do the work because it's easier to take that path and just say, this is me.
But Coach Wash, I'm comfortable in my skin.
Are you? Because you know what causes obesity, well, overeating?
Gluttony.
And what takes you there in most cases? Hurt?
Selfish.
Mental anguish, stress, whatever.
Exactly. Like you not mentally in a good place to put yourself in that place. You went there for a reason, and it's not a good reason, right? If everybody had a choice to just pick their body type like we do on with avatars, since y'all like screens, you want to lie to yourself. We want to pick what we wish we looked like. I don't see nobody just painting fat pictures. You know what I'm saying? Catfishing is a thing for a reason because you didn't want to post your real picture.
Ooh, you just made some people mad right there.
Get mad. Get
Only
mad.
mad at yourself,
Yeah,
man.
you
True
mad at
Only
facts.
mad
yourself.
at yourself.
You mad at
Facts.
yourself already. So the first step before we even start talking about the social aspect and having those accountability partners, you got to stop lying with yourself, and that swings back over to the vulnerability and humility that you were talking about, Steve. Like you have to be okay with saying like I ain't good.
I'm not. Right.
Now you in position to have your closest homies feed you some game and give you some real, some real direction. And if you got some solid ones that are where you want to be, start following. Make the decision and start moving the way they're moving. And if your whole circle look like you just an example of misery loves company.
Mm.
Now we need to start cutting off some dead weight, pun intended, and we need to get down to business. But you first have to accept that you are not good. You need to be okay with saying like I'm broken.
Mm. So I want to piggyback off of that because saying that I'm broken requires a lot.
I said that to you recently.
Absolutely. Requires a lot. I think I've said that to you a couple times.
You have.
And again, it's having that vulnerability, having the trust to be able to have that vulnerability with somebody that when you tell them where you are, they're not going to judge you where you are
Mhm.
because this is not the finale. This is part of the show. This is par for the course. The problems and the things that you're going through right now, that's par for the course. If you're playing the game, you're supposed to have pitfalls. You're supposed to have trouble playing the game. I'm pretty sure everybody here played Monopoly. How many times have you gone to jail playing Monopoly?
Man, I'm
Part of
glad
the
it ain't
damn
real
game.
life. Just glad it's not real life.
Facts. Facts. How many times you pay taxes? Again, this is part of the game.
That is
All
real
these
life.
true enough. True enough. We don't gotta talk about that. We'll get to that in February. But again, that's part of the game. So all right. I do want to pivot really quick to another portion of this topic that we touched on to a degree. I want to kind of end here, and that's wellness in this new digital age. We touched on it quite a bit, obviously. You see it in social media, people telling you how you're supposed to look, what you're supposed to be doing, how you're supposed to eat. There's so much information out there. Coach Luna alluded to that earlier, saying that there's so much information out there for you to get what you need to get and have the resources that you need to have and do what you need to do, right? For those individuals that use the excuses, where so much information out there, I don't know what's right for me. I don't know where to go. I don't know what to do. I don't, because there's so much out there, I don't know where to start. So it's hard for me to start. How do you talk to that person and get that person to get past their own their own hurdle of starting because of the amount of information that's out there for them?
I would say that in itself is an excuse to not start.
Mm-hmm.
Um, I can understand why you feel overwhelmed. There is a ton of information, but there's a lot of consistency out there as well. Um, if you ever been to school, I don't care if you went to college or not. I mean, you should have done it at some point, even at the higher levels of high school. But you were taught to fact check whether you were doing a report of what of, of any nature for any class. If you did a report, you had to cite your sources, right? So a lot of times you had a minimal amount of resources that you had to cite. And the same thing you should do when you're applying it to yourself. Look for consistency in several different sources and then follow the plan of the consistent things that you found to start. That is something that you very well can do. I would say start with 3 different sources. I'm like, oh, I watched this fitness person. I watched this fitness person. these are the consistent moves I see for like beginning workouts that they put together. All right, now I have a base to start from there. Nutritionally, same thing. I read this, I saw this. I'm finding this is the consistent way to go nutrition wise. It's something that I feel will work for my SMART goal. Like I did that. So this is realistic for me. This is achievable for
Mm-hmm.
me. I'm not the type of person like Coach Wash to say I'm not eating meat tomorrow and just stop eating meat. It has to be a process. So now it's like I'm eating it, but I'm cutting down how much I'm eating it.
Right.
I'm cutting out sugar, but I'm not depriving myself because I know that's not going to last for a while. You know, finding ways to still do those things, but in moderation until you get to a point where you have a healthy balance and you got where you want to be. But you got a ton of information, but just look for consistency and start with a foundation based on, a few different resources where everything is the same.
Coach Luna.
My turn.
Oh yeah.
All right. Set your goal. What is exactly that you're looking for? What are you trying to do? Um, this goes back to the little things that we were talking about earlier that I sent y'all in our group chat.
Mm-hmm.
Two of the main things that they talked about that you need to be able to do in your 30s: communication and effective learning.
Mm.
Communication aspect. I guarantee you know somebody that is that is way more knowledgeable in the area that you may be trying to attack, that you're neglecting reaching out to because you don't want to seem like you're asking for help. It is okay. It's okay to ask for help. It is okay to not be an expert at something. It is okay to go ahead and be, hey, bro, let me learn, let me get your ear real quick and I'm gonna send you this and what you think. You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? Critique it. It's okay to communicate and see who knows something that you may not. You may have a friend that you go ahead and be like, damn, especially girls, y'all be complimenting each other like it's nothing all the time, but dudes ain't gonna be like, oh damn, bro. That shit kind of weird. but but you can see if somebody ripped up like, hey bro, buddy been working out. You know what
Right.
I'm saying? Like, hey, bro, what's your routine? Like, what you doing? You doing 4 sets of 10? You doing 3 sets of 8? You on 5 by 5? Like, how you breaking up your workouts? Are you going light this week and then you heavy load next week? Like, how you variety in your workouts? So that way, I learn on my end what I can do to bulk up. You
Mm-hmm.
ask those questions, communicate, and then the effective learning. This is the part where we're all failing, and I mean not all. Like we said, no absolutes. Always, never, never,
Most.
always. Most. Write some stuff down. Study, just like you said. Just like you said, Coach Wise. Study, cite your sources, do the shit that they taught us. For one good thing that they did teach us that actually goes ahead and be consistent is the research. The research is real. The processing of researching and doing all that,
Mm-hmm.
it still holds true. That part, they did teach us that, and that part they did do good. Cite your sources, go look, see what works for you. You'd be surprised what's out there. I'm gonna give y'all a fun fact. There's a thing called specific blood diets. And based off of your blood type, there's actually evidence that supports that you're actually supposed to be, you should be eating more of this type of food than that type of food based off of your blood type.
And that blew my mind when you sent that. That totally blew
Yeah.
my mind. Because again, you think about it, I can't go in the gym and work out the same way you work out. The same program is not going to produce the same results. So it makes sense that again, my blood is different than your blood. It may need something different than your blood, right? So the foods and stuff that you're consuming Again, it all makes sense at the end of the day. It's just how much research are you willing to put in to actually find those keys? That's the thing. That's the thing. Fellas, this has been a great intro to this topic. As obviously, if you've been following the podcast, you know that we have a coach's corner, and then shortly after that coach's corner, we have an episode that kind of capstones the coach's corner, where we give you guys some factual actual from a person in that particular arena. So we do have a guest host that's going to be on the show next week to talk a little bit more about our health and wellness and get us on the right track. More to come on that. Um, Again, the three pieces that we kind of circle through again, that mindful living, healthy nutrition, and healthy eating, obviously your and fitness, and then understanding that your mental health matters. There's obviously a stigma behind taking care of your mental. Too many times we hear people when they say they have to take care of their mental, it's, well, that person's crazy. They need to, they ain't got all the screws. None of us have all of the screws tightened down. This is the reason why we need to be doing this more for ourselves. So that being said, Coach Wash, you got any closing thoughts before we get out of here?
I'm just gonna steal it from Nike and David Goggins. Just do it. Just do the work.
That is. That is. Coach Luna?
Why not today? It's like, I listen, bro. I'm a huge advocate of it, man. If it's dawned on your spirit that you need to do it, stop waiting. Stop waiting, because no matter what, it's gonna come back. Because it's always gonna be there. Because your higher self is always gonna want to come out, and the more you run from it, you can put it in that little corner, but that light will always freaking shine. And it's going one day, it's just gonna pop out, and you just cannot let it. It's not gonna die out, bro. So see it, accept it, go do it. Stop waiting.
There it is. There it is. Again, I thank everybody for listening to the podcast. Found some more listeners earlier today that subscribed to the podcast. So shout out to our two new followers that jumped on for us.
Hit that sign, Coach Watch.
Absolutely. Again, this pod is growing. It is growing. It's helping a lot of people. People are starting to take notice of what we're doing. Again, when you're doing it for the right reasons to help people progress and move and be successful in life, again, good things happen. Again, if you like what you heard from your Coach Life podcast team, hit that like and subscribe button and join us in the next Coach's Corner or our next episode. Again, stay positive, my friends. We'll see you in the next one.